Hey there, folks. It's the E-Man here. I guess kind of an update, I guess. I haven't done kind of an update in a while. Um, well, I'm looking forward to this coming week. There's a few days that are supposed to be in the 50s. I think one day is supposed to be close to 60s. So, yeah, hopefully things will be thawing out in my basement and I can hopefully get the water pumped out when it thaws out. I do have a pellet stove. I'm getting a little bit low on pellets, but I think I'll be alright. I'll probably have to go to the store probably at some point, probably buy some more pellets or something, but whatever. I think there's still 12 down there, 12 bags of pellets for my pellet stove. So, should be alright, I believe, but whatever. I'll take care of it. Anyway, okay, let's back here. I don't know if I've showed this on a video before, but I kind of wanted to show it. One of my favorite Ninja Turtle toys. Mondo Gecko. Yeah, I think they were like really, re-releasing some of the retro turtle toys, and we got him. He's one of them. But yeah, I remember as a boy, I traded this to somebody, and I was like very unhappy with it. And my father went and bought me a whole other one. Yeah, sadly, this is not the original one that I had. This is as I said, it's one of the newer releases of the toys. All right. Ooh, second pair. I've got Leonardo, one of the original Ninja Turtle toys. He's got his two swords there. Kind of a retro kind of look to him. I have the inflatable turtle blimp back there too. Oh, this one. Yeah, I have Rocksteady here somewhere. Not really sure where he is. But got Baxter Stockman, the fly dude. Gotta put his wings back on. That kind of weird. Yeah. Baxter Stockman, the turtles! Help me! Yeah. I'm sure it was probably a big reference to the fly. And they had Baxter turn into a fly. Yeah. Looks like he has a brother in the cartoon that did not get turned into a fly, thankfully. But this weird fly swatter thing. Okay, well, I guess that's it for that. Um, let's see. No. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I was looking for something. I guess I don't really have it here. Yeah. Oh well, I was gonna show off like some of the stuff that I had gotten over last weekend. I got like a power adapter that can plug into multiple things, like the PSP, the 3DS, the 2DS, all kinds of different power plugs here. It's handy. It's kind of handy to have something like this, especially if you have like many handheld games I have laying around, because it's just good to have multiple plugs. Plug in just about all the portable consoles with that. Oh yes, here it is. Now I feel dumb. Yeah, then I also picked up Batman Arkham City Armored Edition for the Wii U. I remember when this came out, and I was like, I have already played Arkham City, but I think I heard that this game takes full use of the Wii U gamepad. So I believe it's good, and Arkham City is pretty good, no matter what. Oh, yeah, now this game is on everything. It's on the Switch, Switch 2. It's like on just about everything now. Arkham City on everything now, which is cool. Now some of these are games I got like a while ago, like not new, but I think maybe I'd forgotten to show them off or something. I've got Xenoblade Chronicles X, a Definite Edition for the Nintendo Switch. I made sure that I had to go and get like a new copy of it because afraid the Switch 2 might get bricked, so I have to like make sure that my games for the Switch are legit and have never been copied. Otherwise, you could risk bricking your Switch 2. I still have the original Switch, so if there's a Switch game I'm nervous about putting the Switch 2, I'll just play it on the regular Switch. That is, yeah, this is one I think I've had for a while, a couple years, and I think I haven't really even played it. Dragon Marked for Death, kind of a game. It's kind of like Mega Man or something. It looks like it is. I think this was made by the same people that worked on the Mega Man Zero franchise. A great franchise. This is probably some gameplay of that. But yeah, I don't know. The Nintendo Switch, which you can usually play on the Switch 2. I don't think there's any upgrades for it. Yeah, of course, I had this for a while. Nintendo Switch Sports. I like the idea that you could get you had a strap where you could put it on your leg and you could like kick a soccer ball or something. Yeah, it's kind of the like there was the Wii Sports. Now there's the Nintendo Switch Sports. Yeah, hey, yeah. I still think maybe they should have done something a little bit different than just made a Switch 2, but whatever. I fell for it too because I went and got a Switch 2, but whatever. Okay. Yeah, and I do know that Xenoblade Chronicles X, there's been like an upgrade for it for the Switch 2, but I mean, I have the game digitally. Yeah, I have the game digitally on my Wii U, so I can actually play on the Wii U, and then of course you can play it through emulation as well. So yeah, I know a lot of times I've talked about it, but yeah, emulation has gotten really great. It's amazing what you can actually play. And I'm talking about playing stuff like that's old. I'm not talking about the new stuff. Like PS2, uh, PlayStation 3, Xbox. I think 360 emulation is actually rather good too, but I think PlayStation 3 is pretty close to retro, I think, at this point. Pretty close. Yeah, well, I hope you might like my look at some of my toys or action figures, I should say. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, I think he has braces on. I remember when I was a kid, I had to go through having braces on and stuff. So yeah. Well, when I was a kid, it was like skateboards were cool, and the punk looking style was kind of in. He's got one glove on with the fingers. Fingers. Yeah. Yeah, I remember one time I had like a plastic knife and I would put it in his hand because I expected him to have a weapon, but I don't think Mondo Gecko was ever meant to be like a warrior or anything. I think it was like Mona Lisa that was another mutant lizard friend. Yeah, like Baxter Stockman. Yeah, he was like a boss on Turtles in Time. Yeah, he's an interesting feller. I think this toy has the biggest problem of trying to stand up all the time. It's always like trying to fall over. Yeah, and I had this on my desk for a while, but I had kind of put some of these away for a little bit. When I put stuff away, I then forget where it is. Yeah. I think I know where pretty much most of my stuff is. All right. Yeah, I had tried to go get the other turtles. I found that I could get a pack of all four turtles for a certain amount of money, so I might look into getting that. Um, I never really noticed how much the original ones had really cheesy weapons. Like these are kind of flimsy plastic weapons. You know, well, not super flimsy, but they're not. It's kind of weird. Yeah, because this was like the redoing the turtles, kind of a reviving of the original kind of look of them. And I guess I forgot how the original toys kind of looked. Like you can see they have teeth showing on one side. I don't. It's weird. I guess I forgot how they kind of looked. It's cool that Leonardo has he has spot on his back to put he has like a strap on his back where you can put the swords on. I think. Yeah. Just yeah, he feels a lot lighter than some of the original toys did. I mean, that's a tell that these are like reproduction of the old school toys. They did that with He Man and but yeah, I have He Man around here somewhere. Battle Cat, Battle Cat's armor. Yeah, I'll probably show that off again as it starts to get warmer. We got more daylight. Yeah, I think on Sunday we're supposed to be getting daylight. So it's almost technically spring already, but it's gonna feel like spring. Hopefully, the next couple of days. Anyway, let's see. Oh, yes. I have not played Resident Evil Requiem, Resident Evil 9, which I should probably get to doing that. But yeah, I think I'm going to wait till next week because I get paid next week. Uh, yeah, if any things come up, I want to be able to take care of that. But anyway, yeah, I should be playing Resident Evil 9. I was, I've been a fan of. I think Resident Evil 2 was one of my favorite Resident Evil games. I didn't play. Yeah, I played Resident Evil 2. I think, and then later on, I went back to Resident Evil 1 because I hadn't really played Resident Evil 1, and there was just something about the game, even though the graphics, the way graphics were at that point. But it was just kind of one of those weird, kind of cool thing. Reminds me of those crazy horror movies or something. Yeah, Resident Evil was my first kind of game series to get into the kind of horror kind of genre or the survival horror that they call it. But yeah, Resident Evil 2 is definitely one of my favorite games. So it's cool to see Leon back. I know that Resident Evil did take a turn to more like action oriented, not really solving puzzles. Not really solving puzzles as much as it used to be. Mostly kind of an action game. You just kind of play as a character, blast through zombies, but I mean, this game does seem to be a lot more sophisticated than that. Some people complain it doesn't feel like Resident Evil. I mean, you're playing as Grace. She's not as tough as Leon. She's obviously most of the game you're going to be playing as her. They do. I don't know if it seems like they mislead a little bit. You can play as two different characters. Like you have to play as Grace and then play as Leon. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I thought the premise of the game was that you play as Grace for a few levels and you have to play as Leon. Yeah, and ultimately this is kind of the resolve of the story that was started with the original one. It is cool to see Leon again. He's a lot older and stuff, and it shows that what the events of Resident Evil 2 are still with him, and he's still always thinking about that. Yeah, all the stuff he's been through. Remember Resident Evil 4? He was like, he had that parasite in him, and we were finally able to get that out, and interesting concepts with Ada and all that stuff. Yeah, of course, when Resident Evil 5 came out, we kind of played as Chris and somebody else, and then Resident Evil 6 was kind of all over the place of who we were playing. I think it was some playing as Leon, but some people don't like that game because it's more action oriented than it was puzzles and whatnot. But I was glad to see, Resident Evil 9. I do think that Capcom is a little bit weird with some of their franchises. Because, remember, let's think about this. Usually around 9 or 10, that was just the way it was with, like, Mega Man. Like, Mega Man 9 and 10 are, like, kind of, like, set up to be, like, the original, the NES kind of style graphics. So, I mean, maybe things are getting to winding down. Yes, I've heard that they're they're gonna do another remake of Resident Evil 1. I don't really know why. I loved the Resident Evil 1 remake on the GameCube. I don't know why they want to remake the original one, but okay. Well, I think that there's a certain when they redid Resident Evil 2, maybe they changed some storyline things, so maybe they want to make it fit more with the storyline of the newest one here. I guess. Still like it. I mean, it's always a funny thing, like Mega Man. I mean, really like Mega Man, but I suppose we're gonna get a game next year or something of Mega Man, but it just feels like they're just being lazy. The new Castlevania game, it's cool that there's a new Castlevania game, but I do feel like the initial studio just seems rather lazy about it. I mean, Capcom wasn't lazy about Resident Evil 9. Don't get me wrong; it's definitely been good with that, but yeah, it's like they're also like trying to do some remakes and maybe they changed some storyline things and didn't think about it at the time. But yeah, but yeah, it was like weird because I thought Resident Evil 9 was coming out for some odd reason. I thought it was coming out much later in the year for some odd reason. I guess I wasn't paying attention. I mean, there's a lot of game. It's hard to keep track of all the games because I have this like Steam sends me an email, but if I don't check my email very often, yeah, if I don't check my email very often, I may not see it. So every once in a while, I'll turn on Steam, check it, and see what's there. Sometimes some games I've had to actually look for. Yeah, recently I got the game of Legacy of Kain Defiance remastered. Wow, what a great remaster! I wish they remastered more games like this. Like wow, and like in a good way. You can already play Defiance on the PlayStation 5, through the playing PS2 through the PlayStation 5. Yeah, you can't really enhance the graphics any in that, but of course, new remastered. Then there's a 2D Legacy of Kain game supposed to be coming out soon too, supposedly. And supposedly we get more Castlevania games, not just that one, Belmont's Curse. Supposedly we're supposed to get some other Castlevania games. I don't know. Konami's is going to be a little bit lazy and just kind of outsource it to somebody else. It's like whatever. Yeah. Well, yeah. I definitely want winter to be done with, especially temperature wise. But it's the way it is. It's here in Maine. We can get snow until the 14th of March or something here. So you never know what the way the weather is anywhere really. But yeah. No, exactly. I've seen it's supposed to be 58 degrees this coming Tuesday. I've heard. I'm like, whoa, like almost 60 degrees. My goodness. Yeah, sometimes we do get like it's rather unusual for Maine for like the middle of winter. All of a sudden, it goes to like higher temperatures. Back in 2023, we had a big storm in December. I think it was. So yeah, it got super warm for like one day, and then it was like, go back into the single digits or something. Yeah, I mean, it's not really particularly warm today. Says it's like 25 degrees out there, and then it's like, but it feels like 15 or something. So yeah, it's definitely going to be rather chilly tonight. So Anyway, up here in my room, I have a heater. So it's like, some of the other heat in my house, it's run it to keep it comfortable in the living room. Not necessarily up here, because of heater up here. Other sources of heat, the pellet stove goes out. We have a heat pump here as well, so like both kind of going. But anyway, that's all figured out, hopefully. Yeah, I think we had gotten some snow recently, and it was pretty much all gone because we had one day that was in the 40s. So yeah, yeah. So my driveway is nice and nice and shoveled out, and didn't have to have anyone plow it. I just kind of shoveled it. Kind of aggravating, because sometimes you have to get up early, especially I had to leave at like kind of early in the most mornings. Yeah. But anyway, I hope you guys are all doing good, and hopefully you guys are still. Hopefully, a lot of you guys are playing. Are playing some good games, and are getting kind of thrilled that the weather's warming up. Yeah, getting thrilled that the weather is warming up. So it's like, yay, weather's warming up. So yeah, yeah. So yep. So yeah, I hope you guys are like having fun and finding games to play and keeping your yep, and keeping your eyes open for like new games and more emulation stuff. Yeah, I'm subscribed to a channel on YouTube, and it's video game Sotera, I believe. I think that's how it's pronounced. Yeah, he like does all things about emulators and whatnot. So yeah, yeah, it's interesting to go. So you guys are feeling looking into emulation or something. You can really like look up a lot of stuff on the wiki pages, and yeah, plenty of places to go look for ways to play older games. Always find out some other new game that was there, or some other way to like a recomp or some other way to play like a classic game. Yeah, let's see. I have the Banjo Kazooie recomp that I did a video on. I have like Ocarina of Time and the oh yeah, I have the Star Fox PC port thing, which is cool. Yeah, I also have another game that I may be thinking of doing. It is the it's Star Trek Deep Space Nine: The Fallen. I think I remember seeing this game advertised like many years ago on GTV. Yeah, that when they had X Play and all that stuff. Yeah, I remember watching that back in the day. Well, I had Prime Star, and that was interesting to watch because it was the only interesting thing to really watch most of the time on modern television. Yeah, some of you don't know. I mean, Deep Space Nine: The Fallen was actually based on a book that they did of Deep Space Nine. Yeah, what's funny is the book company itself actually made this game. I believe the game uses supposedly it uses the very first Unreal Engine. It actually uses like the very first use of the Unreal Engine, supposedly. Yeah, of course, it's like I found the one on the archive. Yeah, the online archive people. A good place to try to look for some stuff. Yeah, they had a version of the game that that's all set up and everything. It has all the new patches and whatnot, and allows it to run on modern hardware. I have actually played it on my computer. Sometimes it can be hard to use modern controllers with it. Well, like going forward and backward, that works, but then when you have to spin, it can sometimes not work well. But yeah, otherwise it's nearly impossible to get Deep Space Nine: The Fallen running. This is essentially a version I found on Archive, on the Internet Archive website. So it's like, yeah, it was a version of it that someone had already patched it, put all the stuff into it, so it will work on modern stuff. I did notice that a lot of the voice actors were not who you thought. Cisco is not done by Avery Brooks, by somebody else. Some of the characters sound normal. I don't know, Avery Brooks, camera shy or microphone shy or whatever. He doesn't seem to like to portray himself in anything. So it's kind of weird. Yeah, this was like based on a book. Essentially, again, the Fallen is a reference to the Pa Raves. Some Cardassian scientists are like messing around with the Pa Raves, and then something happens. Yeah, and then kind of like out in space, like Cisco and them are going on their Bajoran ship that's been attacked. So you're basically playing as Cisco, like running around the Bajoran ship, like shooting aliens and trying to teleport Bajorans off the ship. Well, meanwhile, the Defiant has been damaged, and you're like, yeah. So I mean, I think this game, Deep Space Nine game, basically takes place around. It was the second season when they had the Defiant, or was it the third season? I kind of forget. What's interesting when the game starts, I guess they did not have the rights to the Deep Space Nine theme, so they just kind of play some kind of nice music. It's kind of cool to see Deep Space Nine like fully realized in the old school kind of graphics. Of course, they've been able to up the resolution and everything on the textures and stuff. So yeah, but it still feels like a very weird game, and a lot of the characters, their mouths are moving weird in the scenes, and maybe things look a little silly, but that was back in the day. Yeah, when that game came out, it was. Yeah, I forget what Windows was out when it came out, but it's a rather old game. Like I said, I believe it uses like the first, the first version of the Unreal Engine. I think it doesn't officially say the Unreal Engine, but it's just weird that this game was published by a book company, and I think the game is rather hard to find too. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this little update video. Yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this update video, and hopefully everything's going okay with you guys. Yeah. And I have 94 subscribers. I am incredibly thankful for that. So I'm hoping I get to get some more subscribers. Hopefully. Oh yeah, and I did recently do an X5 video. So basically, that means I'm going to have to go, have to play X5. I'm going to try to go find. I'm going to have to go try to go find all the armor pieces and all the heart pieces, and then hopefully be ready to go. Yeah, hopefully we're going to get to go battle Sigma and get the whole X5 done with. Yeah, the viral nightmare phase, that's just cool. I found out because it's a demo, that was probably why I was having all those sound issues with it. Yeah, it's hard to get it to be the basic sound that you want it to be. And then there was like another version of the demo released. Hopefully, when that full game comes out, I am definitely going to do a video on it. But anyway, a lot of things are kind of up in the air. I know there's a lot of other games that I need to go back to. I remember my first major ambitious thing was to do the game Xenogears was to do Xenogears. I think I got all the way to the Galactic Cave, and because I'm playing it on a different emulator, because before I was playing it on the PlayStation 3, with the backwards compatibility thing, because I had a digital version of it on there. Yeah, I was like, phew. Yeah. Well, the problem with that was then I couldn't figure out how to transfer my save data. Yeah, so basically I have to start playing Xenogears again. And I need to get back to where I was. And then hopefully I'll be able to finish it, which I probably should do. But it was very ambitious. I was very ambitious back then. because I had my laptop with a webcam, and then I was recording the footage with a webcam, so I had a lot of issues doing it. But yeah, it's the way my videos are now. Of course, I can get the direct footage. Plus, if I'm playing it through DuckStation, I will get nice full resolutions and stuff. So the game will look a little bit better. Yeah, like Xenogears is one of my favorite RPGs. I have beaten it. So, believe it or not, I have beaten it. It took a while. It took quite a while. Well, I remember the copy I got it at Toys R Us. But I think that the issue was the copy that I got, there was something wrong with disc 2. There was something wrong. Yeah, there was something wrong with the disc. Like every time I would go out to the world map, it wouldn't work or something. I think it was a problem with disc 2. And I would find save data and I was able to like bypass things, but like the minute I went to the map screen, it would lock out. I remember I was playing the Skeletite Cave. It was a boss I was stuck on. I finally got the boss done, and I went to leave the dungeon, and then the game like didn't work. Yeah, there was something wrong with it, so I had to actually later on I had to go rent. Yeah, I had to go rent like Xenogears because I had to play disc 2. No, it was something wrong with disc 1. Like for some odd reason, I would try to go, to the map screen to get back to the ship and the rest of the game, and boom, like every time that seemed to like it would malfunction or something. Yeah, so essentially, boy was I bummed, couldn't play any further. Yeah, I guess it was some kind of flaw in the disc or something. It was very disheartening, and I would try to go back to play it, and it's like yeah, but it was like yeah, every time you would try to go to the world map or something, the game would just glitch and it wouldn't work. So yeah, it was bummed. I think I was eventually able to yeah, and then I was able to go buy that rental copy of it, and I was finally able to get through it. Well, once disc 1 was done, I think I was able to finally play it because I think disc 2 did not have the flaw. I think disc 1 had some kind of flaw towards the end of the game or something. Like I hear the disc was made wrong, and that happens. Sometimes you get a misprint of the game or something. There was some kind of issue with it. Yeah, I remember my stepbrother. He got what was it? Oh yeah, he got goodness, yeah, Skies of Acadia. He got Skies of Acadia, and there was a flaw with the disc, and it didn't work. What was I? Yeah, Skies of Acadia on the Dreamcast. That was like one of the greatest, really great RPG. If you haven't played it, yeah, my mindset is not really for RPGs in the moment, but I do want to finish Xenogears and probably like some other games. It was back when I was very ambitious, doing multiple part videos. Those videos are still on my channel. Basically, you can search my channel and just type in Xenogears. You should see a bunch of my older videos. I think that was 6 years ago, I believe. So it's been a while since I've got back to Xenogears. But yeah, I just want to make sure I can get everything working perfectly. Because at the moment, my microphone is working fine and not having any issues with it. Yep. As I said, I do appreciate new subscribers, so yeah, I hope to get as many subscribers as I can. Yeah, because unlike most channels, I don't I don't have bots. I can't buy. I'm not gonna go buy views or something. Yeah, I don't use bots or anything. I just hopefully use real people. I always wonder where some of the numbers for some of the YouTubers out there come from because I'm like, how can there be that many people doing that? But anyway, whatever someone else is doing on YouTube, that's their business. I'm doing this for fun, so I'm not really like crazy about making money. It would be nice if I was monetized. It would be nice if I was monetized, but do appreciate the 94 subscribed. So, if you like this video, please like and subscribe as always. And feel free to leave any comments, like what toys or action figures do you kind of have laying around, or what games would you just suggest I play? I'm assuming a lot of you will probably say I should play Final Fantasy 9 and excuse me, I mean Resident Evil 9 or Resident Evil Requiem. I guess it's not technically called 9, but yeah, I guess that's one of the games I should be playing. I probably should be doing a video for Legacy of Kain Defiance Remastered probably a little bit. I know some of the music is copyright claimed on it, so I have to be careful with that. Okay, well, I will see you guys later then. Bye.